We are going to discuss the top 10 most common VA disability claims that you, the veteran, can file for as of April 2025, right? I'm going to give you some insights on how to file each condition and how the VA rates for each condition, okay? I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, but the VA assigns disability ratings from 0 to 100% for various conditions, whatever you file for, considering factors like severity, the frequency of whatever condition you filed for, and how much the condition impacts your daily life, right? So, the number one most common claim to file for on my list is tinnitus or tinnitus, however you want to say it. That is the most approved VA disability claim, right? That is it. One of the easiest things to claim for is that tinnitus, which typically requires only a current medical diagnosis and a link to your military service. Okay. One of the ways that the VA rates for tinnitus is high noise exposure. Was your job a mechanic on the flight line? Were you around loud noises? You need a very good statement and support a claim, right? As well, a personal statement to say, hey, I was around loud noises during this time frame whenever I was in, and I now have a ringing, buzzing, hissing sound that is continual in my ears. And be specific, is it bilateral or is it one side? Most veterans describe tinnitus, right, myself included, as a ringing in the ears, even though no external sound is present. However, tinnitus can also cause other types of phantom noises in your ears, including buzzing, roaring, just like I was talking about, clicking, hissing, humming. And the VA rates the tinnitus under diagnostic code 6260, and it carries a single VA disability rating of 10%. Okay. Note this is very, very important. No evidence of hearing loss should not be a factor for denying a tinnitus claim, because hearing loss and tinnitus are separate claims. So, hearing loss and tinnitus are not the same thing, and some veterans get that confused. Okay. The number two claim to file for is limitation of flexion of the knee. Okay. Knee pain. Knee pain is quite common among us as veterans, okay? Often caused by injuries like ligament tears or conditions such as gout, infections, arthritis, or even as a ripple effect to or from the back, okay? The VA rates knee conditions under diagnostic code 5257 with ratings for limitation of flexion ranging from 0% to 30%. Severe cases such as knee ankylosis can be rated up to 60% under diagnostic code 5256. You, as a veteran, may qualify for a higher VA disability rating if indeed your knee pain causes instability or requires assistive devices. In addition, if your knee pain requires surgery, you may require or receive a temporary VA rating of 100% post op, right, as you get through that surgery. But then remember, the VA is going to bring you back probably within 6 months, and they're going to reassess and reevaluate how that surgery has done for your knee, and they're going to see if it's gotten worse or better, so your rating could be reduced. In addition, okay, very important here, if your knee pain does require that surgery, right, you may receive a temporary VA rating. Okay, I just want to be clear about that, right? Under the painful motion principle, veterans experiencing pain during knee movement are entitled to at least a 10% rating. Okay, so I'll be talking about that in another video of what the painful motion principle is and just kind of understanding the VA knee rating chart. Okay. The next thing, number three, is hearing loss. Okay. One of the most common VA claims is hearing loss, right? It affects over 1 million veterans. Several medical conditions can cause hearing loss, including osteosclerosis and Meniere's disease as well. Some of the causes of service connected hearing loss include regular exposure to explosions, gunfire, and weaponry, prolonged exposure to noise from specialties such as being on the flight line, mechanic, or even aviation, right? a single acute blast injury event, such as an IED, mortar round, or something of that nature, contact with toxic chemicals can also impact and cause hearing loss, traumatic brain injury or TBI, and post traumatic stress disorder are just a few things that can absolutely veterans cause hearing loss. The VA rates hearing loss under diagnostic code 6100, right? That's the schedule of ratings for the ear, with ratings ranging from 0 to 100%. Again, depending on the severity of your hearing loss as measured by speech discrimination and pure tone audiometric results. Okay. It's very important. The VA is pretty strict on that. Their auditory findings are pretty strenuous to meet, right? Just some of that criteria. So you need to make sure that you have pretty bad hearing loss if you're going to get a rating. A lot of veterans are rated with 0%, maybe some are rated with 10%. I think those are some of the more common hearing loss ratings. However, the worse that it is, the more severe that it is, the higher potentially that your hearing loss could be. And remember this, very important. Hearing aids do not necessarily impact your VA rating. The VA rates the level of your hearing loss without hearing aids. Okay, very important. So, just because you have hearing aids doesn't mean you're going to get a big rating. And they do rate and are supposed to, very important, rate you without hearing aids in your ears. Okay, right? The next thing, number 4, lumbosacral or cervical strain, right? Lumbosacral is back, cervical strain, neck pain. It's a common VA disability claim that is amongst you and I as veterans. Poor posture, carrying heavy objects, deployments, carrying a rucksack, leaning over a computer for many years, and other activities can strain your neck muscles, okay? And the VA rates lumbosacral or cervical strain under diagnostic code 5237 with ratings of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 100. The VA ratings for neck pain depend upon the frequency, severity, and duration of symptoms, including but not limited to limitation of range of motion and painful motion as well too. So you may qualify for 100% VA rating for neck pain if you have unfavorable, right, of the entire spine. Okay. Very important to know that, right? So lumbosacral or cervical strain comes in number 4 on our list. Number 5 is going to be post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Post-traumatic stress disorder, again, I don't want to insult any of y'all's intelligence, but it's a mental health condition that's triggered by experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event, which the VA calls a stressor event. Okay. Very important to know that. If you're going to file for PTSD, make sure that you've been seen for it. Make sure that you're very accurate in describing and descriptive of the stressful event that occurred and impacted and caused your PTSD. And make sure that you're talking to someone. Make sure that you have an up-to-date diagnosis as well. And a hint on PTSD is if you have a combat action badge, infantry badge, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, anything to prove that you are in some sort of action, combat, or something of that nature. And if you did not get seen, that can suffice and replace the lack of treatment as well too. If you have a lot of time, I'm going to recommend that you get a nexus letter. If you need a nexus letter or a DBQ, linking that PTS together to your service, the PTSD, then look at the description of this video, hit up Dr. Lopez, Dr. Sharma, hit us up, info@veteransclaimservice.com. We can point you in the right direction. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, at some point in a veteran's life, 29% of Operation Iraqi Freedom, so OIF soldiers, guys and gals, and Operation Enduring Freedom, OEF, who went to Afghanistan era veterans will have PTSD. Associated symptoms of PTSD include nightmares, severe anxiety, flashbacks, depression, uncontrollable thoughts about the event, and the VA rates it from 0 to 100% under diagnostic code 9411, depending on the severity of your PTSD. If all is fine, all is dandy, you suck it up and deal with it, you might get a low rating. The worse that it is, right? You don't want to minimize. You want to be honest with your symptoms. You want to continue to get treatment. But the worse that it is, the higher the rating is. Okay. I'm not asking you to lie about it. I'm just asking you to be honest with your symptoms and what you're going through. If you've went through a divorce because of it, if you're isolating if you can't go around fireworks, if if it's leading you to drink and use drugs and substances and all those things, you need to be forthcoming about that. Okay. Very, very important. So, depending on the severity of your PTSD, depends on the severity of your rating. Okay. Number six, limitation of motion of the arm. Limitation of motion of the arm refers veterans to the reduced ability to move the arm due to injury, pain, or stiffness, often caused by conditions like rotator cuff tears, arthritis, or even joint damage, right? In the VA disability system, very important here, this limitation is measured by how far the arm can be lifted away from the body, specifically concerning the shoulder. They're dialing in on that. The VA rates arm conditions under diagnostic code 5201. Okay, arm limitation range of motion, and they rate it at 10, 20, or 30%, depending on the degree of range of motion in the shoulder joint and whether it affects the dominant major or non-dominant minor arm. Very important to know that, okay? So that is number six, limitation of motion of the arm. Number seven is limitation of range of motion of the ankle. Your ankle is a complex structure of your bones, ligaments, tendons, and muscles designed to support your body weight and facilitate your overall movement. Think about that. Everything you walk puts and applies pressure on those ankles. Still, it is also susceptible to further injury and further pain, and it can also impact, because pain does shoot up, other conditions of or other ailments in your body, right? But also, you can sustain further injury and pain, especially from your time in military service. Frequently, the VA rates ankle conditions under diagnostic code 5271, ankle limited motion, with 10% or 20% ratings. Okay. So you really ain't getting above a 20% rating for that ankle. I just want to let you know, right? So, limitation of range of motion of the ankle comes in at number seven. Number eight is going to be migraines, right? Migraines, what are those? Those are headaches that cause severe throbbing pain or a pulsing sensation, usually on one side of the head, but sometimes it's bilateral on both sides of the head. Okay. Additional symptoms of migraines include extreme sensitivity to light, weakness or numbness in the face or one side of the body, vomiting, nausea, etc. If you veterans suffer from migraines, you know they can last for hours or even sometimes days with severe pain that interferes with daily life, right? Even causing isolation and total occupational and social impairment, at times causing you to leave the job. If you're going to file for it, you need to be honest with that. You need to have a very good statement in support of claim, right? And remember, you can secondary migraines to like PTSD, to ringing in the ears and all that, if those are indeed the causes. But if you're going to secondary your migraines, you need a nexus DBQ diagnosis. The VA rates migraines under diagnostic code 8100 with ratings of 0, 10, 30, and 50%, depending on the frequency of migraines and the impact on your ability to work as well too. Okay. So migraines come in at number eight, right? Number nine is going to be scars. Okay. They're not big ratings unless they're painful or unstable to the touch. They do rate them from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 80%, but it will depend on the size of the scar, the location of the scar on the body, the location of it, the depth and level of pain, and the disfigurement of the scar as well too. The more severe, the higher the rating, and sometimes that just impacts us. So I hope you don't have a crazy scar on your body, because that can really, really impact you. But if you do, you could get a higher rating. Okay. So they rate that under diagnostic code 7800 to 7805. You may be eligible for a 10% VA disability rating for a scar that you have if it has one characteristic of disfigurement. Okay. Right. And number 10 is coming in at degenerative arthritis of the spine. Okay. Degenerative arthritis of the spine, also known as osteoarthritis or degenerative disc disease, is a common condition among veterans. It occurs when the protective cartilage cushioning the ends of the bones wears down over time, okay, leading to pain and stiffness in the spine. Very important to know that. The VA rates degenerative arthritis of the spine under diagnostic code 5242 with ratings from 10% to 100%, depending on the severity of the condition and its impact on the spine's range of motion. A 100% VA rating can be awarded when the entire spine is frozen in an unfavorable position. Okay. And I'm sorry, that was number 9. Number 10 is going to be sleep apnea. Okay. Sleep apnea causes repeated breathing interruptions during sleep, often leading to loud snoring and excessive daytime fatigue. Okay. The 3 types of sleep apnea are obstructive, central, and mixed sleep apnea. Okay. Obstructive sleep apnea is the most common type. It occurs when throat muscles relax excessively during sleep, blocking the airway and causing breathing interruptions. Central sleep apnea is unlike OSA. It is caused by the brain failing to send proper signals to the muscles, right, that control breathing, leading to pauses in airflow. Mixed sleep apnea is a combination of both obstructive sleep apnea and central sleep apnea, right? And this condition starts with brain signal disruptions and progresses to airway blockages, right, as well. So the VA rates sleep apnea under diagnostic code 6847 with ratings of 0, 30, 50, or 100. If you require a continuous positive airway pressure CPAP machine, veterans, you may qualify for a 50% rating. However, did it occur while you're on active duty? Did you get a sleep study while on active duty, or did you get it post duty? Because if you got it post duty, how are we going to get that sleep apnea connected to your service? How are we going to establish service connection? You may need an access letter. And if you do, look in the description of this video. So, in comparison, experiencing chronic respiratory failure or requiring a tracheostomy or a tracheostomy may be eligible for a 100% rating. It just all depends. That would be the way to get that, is that you would need to have respiratory failure or require a tracheostomy. That would give you a 100% rating, but most of the time it's a 50% rating for the most part. Remember, they are redoing some of the sleep apnea, the mental health, and taking away the standalone tinnitus rating as well too. So those right there, my friends, round out the top 10 conditions. And again, I'm going to kind of go over those. You have tinnitus, limitation of flexion of the knee. You have hearing loss, lumbosacral or cervical strain, post-traumatic stress disorder, right? You have limitation of motion of the arm, that came in at number 6, limitation of range of motion of the ankle at 7. You have migraines at 8, scars at 9, and then you have sleep apnea that came in at number 10. Those are the 10 most common VA disability claims to file for as of right now, April 2025. If you need help with your claim, reach out to us, okay? Filing a claim online is the quickest and easiest way to do so. If you get denied, figure out why. Give us a call. We could point you in the right direction. If you need a Nexus DBQ or diagnosis, look in the description of this video. And as always, thank you, veterans, for your service. We appreciate you. We are veterans serving veterans. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. Share this out with someone that can use this information. And thank you for your service to our country. We hope this video helps you out. Peace.